Hello everyone and welcome back to another wrap up. I'm kind of speechless that it's already December. I don't really want to think about how fast this year went, but I ended up reading 8 books this month. And as usual, I'm going to start with the lowest rated book all the way to the highest rated book. So if you do want to skip around, timestamps are down below. Like I said, I read 8 books this month and I think it was a pretty good month. It felt slow reading wise, like the month went by fast, but I wasn't drawn to or really dying to pick up any specific book. I had kind of a TBR and I kind of drifted away from it, and then I'm kind of back on it now, and I'm just kind of going with the flow since it's the end of the year, just taking things the way I want right now. And starting with the 3-star category, I listened to Ali Hazelwood's audiobook Two Can Play, and this one was fun. I listened to it in a day. What is it, 3-4 hours? Like very, very simple. I don't usually like, and I said this in my last month wrap up, I don't like rating short stories or novellas, but in the past I have rated all of Ali Hazelwood's novellas, so I felt comfortable because she's an author that I've rated novellas for. This one kind of felt typical. Like, I think all of her novellas and short stories I've given 3 stars. This one is about Viola and Jesse, who are both, I'm not in STEM. Well, fuck, I guess I am. My bachelor's degree is literally a bachelor's of science. Anyway, I don't know anything about gaming. And these two are software developer creators for video games. Viola and Jesse work for competing companies. It's so typical Ali Hazelwood. I don't even know what to describe. It's the most Ali Hazelwood audiobook you could ever listen to, but I love them and I eat them up anyway. They're so easy and so fast-paced, and again, it's a novella, so of course it's fast-paced, but her books are a lot of fun. So if you're looking for something quick, I recommend it. It is available now on Libby. That's where I listen to it. I know specifically it was a Spotify special. The next 3-star read book that I had was this gem, Sprayed Edges right here, Hellbent by Leigh Bardugo. This is book 2 in the Alex Stern series. I think it's done, just a duology. If there's a 3rd one coming out, I'm sorry, I probably will not read it. I gave Ninth House 3.5 out of 5 stars, and giving this one 3 stars made sense. I didn't enjoy it as much, but I did still enjoy it. Like, I would recommend it for certain times of year or certain people in my life, but I would not reread this myself just for fun. This book is about Alex and Daniel Arlington, aka Darlington. They both go to Yale, and specifically they're in a secret society at Yale. I always forget what it's called. Lethe? Is it Lethe? They're in a secret society at Yale called Lethe. This is book 2, so I won't say too much because I don't want to spoil it, but Darlington is trapped in hell and Alex has to figure out a way to get him back. I did a reading vlog where I read a lot of this book in it, and in that vlog I said it confused me a little bit the whole time. Like the whole book, I was just a little confused. So moving to the 3.5-star category, and I had 3.5-star books this month. Once Upon a Broken Heart by Stephanie Garber. And I do have some beef with y'all because this series is highly recommended to me. People recommend it to me all the time. And I'm currently reading book 2, and I've been reading book 2 for about a week and a half because I think it's boring. So I don't know what the hype is and I don't know what I'm missing, but I didn't like Caraval either, so maybe it's just Stephanie Garber's writing is not meant for me. But this is about Evangeline and Jax. Evangeline kind of makes a deal with Jax because Jax is a fate in this world and he has kind of like god-like tendencies. He eats apples. I don't know what Jax is. I did like their dynamic a lot in this book, and people said that in book 2 it gets even better, it gets even juicier. I'm not feeling it. 3.5 out of 5 stars. I was entertained, a lot more entertained than I was with Caraval, so that says something. Maybe I'll get the hype later on in the second book because it's right there behind the camera. And I don't even think I'm halfway through, so maybe once I get to the halfway point it'll get a little bit better, but the next book has been on my TBR for a really long time. Like physical TBR, it's been on this cart for a really long time and I'm glad that I finally read it. And that is Daughter of No Worlds by Carissa Broadbent. I half listened, half read this book, and I'm glad that I did that. I loved the audiobook of this. This book is about Tasana and Max Antarius. Let's call him Max for short. Tasana is, or was, for lack of a better word, a slave and buys her way out. She kind of made a deal with her owner and said, hey, if I can buy my way out of my slavery, will can I leave? Ends up with Max Antarius, and he is going to train her in her magic because she has magic, she's just never been trained with it. By the 50% mark, you guys, I was shocked at the turn of events because something happened with a host. It reminded me of the book The Host by Stephanie Meyer. It reminded me a lot of that book where there is this alien-ish kind of creature that, yeah, I don't want to spoil it. It was okay. I was expecting so much more. I thought this book could have been so different. It could have been so much more. And I think that's just my feelings. I wanted something else. First half of the book, I was a little bit bored. And then the second half of the book, I was very entertained, but I did not like the ending. So I think there were a few things combined that led me to rating this a 3.5 star, but 3.5 star. Don't mind my nailless finger, and I'm not flipping you off, okay? The next book I'm not going to talk too much about. It is Hexed by Emily McIntyre. I did rate it 3.5 out of 5 stars. A little low for what I was assuming going into this book. This is a Little Mermaid fractured fairy tale, similar to a retelling, but not at all. And you have to read Emily McIntyre to really understand what the difference is between a fractured fairy tale and a retelling, but I promise you, you will not be disappointed if you jump into this series. So this is based off Enzo and Vanessa. Vanessa works for her uncle, who is this gang lord in South Carolina. Enzo is in New York and also the son of a gang lord. So two big gang lord families who are merging, per se, I guess. Enzo is marrying Vanessa's cousin. Linked family tree there, you gotta read it, it makes more sense. There was a specific trope in here that I did not love, but that's okay. I think that it made sense for the story. I do think that knocked down my ranking a little bit because it made my perception of the smutty, sexy tension in this a little different. Butcher and Blackbird vibes because of these two and how they bond. Enzo and Vanessa had this chemistry from the very beginning. I think they met in chapter 2. Like, they laid eyes on each other for the first time in chapter 2, and I was giddy. I was blushing, kicking my feet, so happy. The chemistry right off the bat was incredible. It was a little bit predictable, but fun. And I will read anything Emily McIntyre publishes, and the fact that she was going through something so traumatic, fighting cancer as she was writing this book, makes it so much more inspiring to read. Like, I was so ready and happy to read this book. So join the book club if you want more info and my thoughts on that book. The next book I did finish this morning, Vows and Ruins. This is book 2 in the Blood and Steel. Oh, no. The Legends of the Thesmar. That's what the series is called. Book 1 is called Blood and Steel. I talked about it in my wrap-up last month. Again, this is book 2, so I don't want to spoil anything or say too much, but this is about Thea and Wilder. It's a slow burn story, watching them go through and figure out some of the things happening in their world. There are these creatures who are not good, and they're trying to kill them. That was terrible. Why do I do videos like I can't even articulate half the time what I'm trying to say. Wilder is Thea's mentor, and Thea is trying her hardest to become a warrior in a society where women typically aren't warriors, and she is doing her best. This series to me is a mix between Fourth Wing without the dragons and From Blood and Ash by Jennifer Armentrout. Thea reminds me so much of Poppy from that series, and I love Poppy. So if you didn't like Poppy because Poppy has a very strong personality, then Thea might not be for you. There are a little bit like those dialogue scenes that are a little cringy, and I'm like, girl, you're not a superhero, even if you're trying to be kind of, you know, like tone it down a little bit, little Disney character-ish, but still thoroughly enjoyed it. It is extremely spicy. I think this book would have even gotten a higher rating if there wasn't as much spice. I don't know why, I just haven't been enjoying spice as much recently, so I did skim the spicy scenes a little bit. There was a lot going on. I already bought the third book. That was 4 stars. I don't think I said that. Moving on to the 4.5 star category. This book took me by surprise. It became available on Libby, and I was like, what the heck? I've seen people talk about it. Sure, I guess I'll listen to it. I'm so happy I did. First of all, the audiobook, 2 different narrators. The male narrator, I was drooling. Lights Out by Nevessa Allen. It's about Allie and Josh. Allie is a nurse, and she has some kinks, okay? I won't get into the details because I think the way that they go about getting into their kinks is so good. Like, I don't want to say really anything else about this book, so I think I'm just gonna leave it there. I don't think I'm gonna talk about this book very much. This book is definitely a mixture between Butcher and Blackbird and Haunting Adeline. So if you like the humor from Butcher and Blackbird, kind of that like sarcastic, snarky banter that the two characters have, you'll get that in Lights Out, but a very similar plot, stalker, dark vibe. Hate that word, from Haunting Adeline. So you're getting a good mix in here. I did not enjoy Haunting Adeline because it was so dark. It came off really cheesy. Like it just came off kind of silly to me, where this one combines the dark with the humor so well. And again, I completely 100% recommend the audiobook. The narrators are perfect. That is what I want every single book to be, in their voices. Like, so great. It almost got 5 stars, but there were just some things towards the end that I was like, dang, I wish they did that differently, but it didn't turn me off from the whole book. So I really recommend it. It is spicy, so beware. Now, my one and only 5-star of the month. Are you guys gonna hate me? I don't even hate myself anymore for loving this series. It's doing something to me. 5 stars. 5 stars. I'm not even gonna say I'm sorry, because I'm not. I'm not sorry anymore. If you've read the first book and you didn't like it and it made you drop the whole series, I would ask you to reconsider and pick up the second book, then pick up the third, then the fourth, then the fifth, because I think this book changed the chemistry in my brain when it comes to pretty writing. The quotes about grief and loss, and if you've lost someone in your life, or you know someone that has, the way that Magnolia handles grief was so realistic and so sad, and her thoughts were incredible. Like, I don't know any other way to describe it, but I promise you, this series gets better. The first book, I think my review on it is like, my brain hurts, or like, I don't know whether I love it or hate it. And that's how I felt about the first book. I was like, I don't like this book. Like, this is not, it's toxic. It's not a happy feeling that you get when you finish that book, but continue the series. And if you don't like it, I will refund. I don't know what I was gonna say. I did order the original covers of these, which I'm so happy about because these are so ugly. These are gonna become my reread, annotated, like mess it up, get it all dirty and bent. I don't care. I'm just going to annotate the heck out of these and then keep the pretty ones on my shelf. That is it for November. I felt like I did a pretty good job, especially being in kind of like a slow mood. I don't think I was in a slump. I just felt like taking my time with my books, and I did. And it was a great reading month. I enjoyed it so much. Thank you for tuning in. Go ahead and give this video a like and subscribe. I will see you in the next video. Okay, wait, I forgot to say something. Brock is gonna be so mad that I forgot this. It's currently November 30th, so tomorrow is December 1st. But tonight I will finish White Nights by Fyodor Dostoevsky. I'm so sorry, I know I butchered that. I am reading White Nights. It's a short story. It's 58 pages in this book, and I think I'm on page 40. He says I'll give it 5 stars. He says I'm gonna love it. He says it's so romantic. He has 18 pages to prove his point, so we will see what I think. You can be my friend on Goodreads if you want to see what I say about it, because I'm not going to rate it. It's a short story and I don't feel comfortable rating short stories, but I will write a tiny review. Maybe. Hello everyone, and welcome back to another YouTube video. No, why did I say that? I literally never say that. Okay.